Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for continuing to watch the Buckeyes at Home series, and thank you for continuing to watch Doodle Days with Zach. I'm so glad that you're here today in my art studio / office space. I'm glad that we have the opportunity to doodle together, even though we're apart right now. So thank you so much for continuing to watch. And today we're going to be focusing on something a little different. So in the past couple videos, we've talked about, different things related to landscapes like trees, seasons, and things like that. But I thought we'd kind of switch it up. I had a request from a viewer who actually sent me some drawings to maybe focus on some dinosaurs next. So in the next couple videos, you're going to see me lead different drawing tutorials on how to draw different dinosaurs. So in this video today, I thought I'd focus on the Brontosaurus, which is this guy with the long neck over here. So we're going to be drawing a Brontosaurus today. But before we do, since we're talking about dinosaurs anyway, I wanted to pause for a moment and just ask you, what are some books you've read that feature dinosaurs in it? Awesome, those are some great books. Yeah, I love books that feature dinosaurs. There's some really great picture books like Edwina the Dinosaur Who Didn't Know She Was Extinct by Mo Willems, or even Dinosaur vs. Bedtime. And if you're a little older, maybe you've read Jurassic Park or something like that. And I love seeing books that feature dinosaurs. So maybe you can add some dinosaurs to your own stories as you develop them. Now, before we get started on our doodles, what I want to do is I want to pause to give you a second to find some art supplies. So I want you to go ahead and grab some paper, maybe some pens, pencils, colored markers, whatever you want to use, whatever, crayons even, crayons are awesome. So pause the video and go and find those art supplies. And then once you've found what you're looking for, once you've found some cool art supplies to doodle with today, press the play button and we'll resume the video. And welcome back. I'm glad you could find some great art supplies. We're going to go ahead and get started with our Brontosaurus. And as you can see, I've erased our board here so that we can get started with our doodle. But before we begin, I do want to ask you, what is your favorite dinosaur? Awesome. That's a great dino. Personally, my favorite is the Triceratops. I think it's pretty cool. And maybe we'll draw that Triceratops later on. Maybe that'll be our next video. But before we do that, I do want to say if you have any favorite dinos that you want me to draw in the next couple videos, please let me know. Feel free to email me some recommendations. I'm always happy to doodle whatever you want me to. But at this point, let's go ahead and get started. So on your mark, get set, doodle. So to get started, I'm going to draw a little half circle. And this is going to mark where our eye is going to go. This is just a half circle here. So we've got the start of our head. Next, I'm going to draw another half circle that's kind of connected to that. And that's going to keep going down because it's going to make the snout. So we're going to kind of draw a little bit further, draw a little bit of a line, kind of box it in, just swoop down. It's going to make the chin, leading to the neck. So there we have our Brontosaurus head. Now, it doesn't look quite complete, right? So we should probably add in the eye and maybe the mouth. So I'm going to get started by just drawing a little circle here. This is going to be our eye. I'm going to fill that in, leaving a little bit of white in the corner just to have some light reflection going on. And the mouth is pretty high up on this area, so I'm going to draw just a straight line coming down, and then I'm going to have it kind of swoop down a little bit into that shape. So we've got the start of a dinosaur head. So this is the start of our Brontosaurus. So next we need to give her a pretty long neck, right? So we're going to get started with that. So it's just going to be a line kind of swooping down like this. Maybe another one right beside it, swooping down in the same way. And next we need to focus on the body a little bit. So we're going to draw in a chest that kind of loops down, maybe some legs. So that's going to be kind of like a box shape. Now, maybe we want our dinosaur to be taking a step, right? So I'm going to have some lines coming out around where the chest is, and then it's going to actually come down in another boxy shape. So that way it looks like our dinosaur is taking a little step. Next, I'm going to add in, because a lot of times in artist renditions, and I'm not an expert on dinosaurs or anything like that, but in some of the artist renditions of what brontosaurs look like, they sometimes have like a humped back, so it's kind of like a rounded back shape. Now, we're going to kind of illustrate that by drawing in kind of a half circle here. So we've got our dinosaur's back, and next we need to draw in the belly. And then we'll add in some more legs. So we'll add in another box shape. And then we'll have one kind of behind that too, so that we illustrate all 4 legs. So next, we need to add in the tail. So maybe it'll come up in a rounded shape, but it always thins out towards the end of the tail. Almost like a line. So, and then we'll have it swooping back up, and it'll thicken out a little bit as it connects to the body. But there we have our Brontosaurus. So at this point, I want to add in some details. So there's usually like some little markings on it in some of the pictures I've seen of them. So I'm adding just a few little black lines on the edges here. You are welcome to do the same thing. This is just kind of how my art style works. I like to incorporate a lot of lines in my drawings, just because I think that it illustrates them really nicely. So I've got some black edges, but maybe we'll make a green Brontosaurus. Now you don't have to make your Brontosaurus green. You can make it whatever color you want. But I like the color green. It's my favorite color right now. So feel free to make yours whatever color you want though. So I'm going to add in some green lines. Just kind of color in these spaces with these green lines here. Okay, so I've colored in my dino. Now, maybe this dinosaur is doing something silly. So right now it feels like it's missing something, right? Maybe we should add in a background, or maybe we should have this dino doing something. Now, earlier I had the leg raised up as if it were to simulate walking, but maybe the dinosaur is doing something else. So maybe she is an artist and she's looking at some of the scenery around her and getting started to do a painting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this dino a little bit of a paintbrush and maybe a small-sized easel with a canvas on it. So just to give it a little bit of an artistic flair. So I'm drawing a little stick here that this one's holding, coming up in kind of a paintbrush-looking shape. I'm drawing a square. That's going to be our canvas. And if you recall in our last video, easels have kind of 3 legs on them usually, kind of coming down in triangular shapes. So we've got a paintbrush, we've got an easel, maybe she's just getting started. Maybe we can give her a little artist's hat, like a little beret or something, but I kind of like the look of her head as is, so I'm going to leave it like that. But if you want to add a hat, you're welcome to also. But maybe she's getting started on a landscape. Maybe she's looking at some really pretty scenery. So we should probably add in a background. So I'm going to add in some hills behind her. So I'm actually going to just draw the shape of hills. So we're just going to have some rounded edges here, looping down. Maybe she sees something off in the distance. We're going to color this in with some really big strokes of marker here, just to differentiate a little bit from the dino. But maybe she sees some flowering trees, or maybe some mountains, who knows. Maybe you can illustrate that in your own stories. And I am going to add in a little flowering tree here. So just on the top of this hill. So I'm just going to make that branch off a little bit. Still have our trunk here. But give her some pretty scenery to paint. I'm just using little half circles, little upside down C's to illustrate the flowering trees. And that can go over the trunk a little bit, over these branches. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to give the illusion of a tree. And at this point, I'd say this is a pretty nice looking Brontosaurus. So I'll hold this up so that you can see it a little bit more. What do you think? I think it looks pretty nice. We'll get the artist's canvas there. But I'd love to see what you've been doodling. Can you hold that up to the computer screen for me, please? Awesome, that looks amazing. You've been doing so well. That's a really great looking dino. Now, it probably doesn't look the exact same as my doodle, and that's perfectly fine because it looks exactly like one of your doodles. So that's fantastic. That's what art's all about. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for drawing some dinos with me. And in the next video, we'll probably draw a T-Rex or a Triceratops. We'll see what happens. But thank you for watching. Thank you for continuing to watch the Buckeyes at Home series, and have a fantastic day.